Matt Bekier, many thanks for your time. I just wanted to ask you where the infancy of this idea came from. At what point did you suddenly decide it is worthwhile trying to see whether it is viable to create a merger with Crown?
Look, the idea is not novel. It's been kicked around for a while, for many years in fact. You may recall that a few years ago, Crown took a stake in Star when we first demerged, and then applied to go even higher. So the idea as a concept's been around for a long time. Once Crown started to be put into play and there was an offer on the table, we had to think about our position. And I think what we really liked was the idea to create the BHP of Australian gaming, hospitality and entertainment. With this company, the combined assets will be a company of scale on the global platform. And we'll have close to 30,000 staff. That's as many as Qantas has. We have 19 hotels, over 200,000 restaurants. When COVID lifts and travel is back, that positions us really well to take full advantage of that.
Okay, now why is your offer more compelling than the others? It's a higher offer, I get that. Is it a case where you can pay more because there's synergies, there's potentially even cost savings that are in there as well?
Yeah, there's three things that we can do that nobody else can do. First of all, we have synergies. So we have estimated, and we've done a lot of work in that space, that there's about $150 to $200 million worth of cost synergies.
Is that jobs?
That's 70% of that is jobs, and then there's some non-people costs as well.
And how many jobs do you think would go as a result?
Out of that, probably 500 to 700 middle and senior management jobs. We've been able to give a guarantee to the governments as well as the unions that we need the frontline, the customer serving staff will not be affected. And right now, where we're sitting here, we are recruiting for 600 frontline staff because there's good demand out there, and we need to grow, we can grow our hospitality business. So the frontline staff won't be affected, customer service won't be affected. This is really a corporate restructuring.
And so where are the other synergies?
So the first bucket comes really out of direct duplication, but also out of adopting our management model, which is a lot more centralized and allows us to run more out of smaller, we call them centers of excellence, like marketing, gaming, and so on. Then there's procurement synergies. There's the fact that we only need one computer system. They only need to pay for the maintenance of only one system. We get synergies out of those sort of things. But synergies is only one of the three reasons why our proposal is superior. The second one is, once you put the properties together, you have a much more diverse income stream. It de-risks the whole business proposition. It also means through that portfolio of 7 assets, we can probably do a property trust. So we can separate the operating company from the underlying property. You can only do that when you have some meaningful diversification.
So that means you actually bring cash out effectively by creating that trust.
We bring probably $2 billion worth of cash out of that business. You can do that once you've put the businesses together. The third reason why we think our proposal is better is because we are a licensed company, an Australian company that's listed, good governance and good standing with the regulators and the governments in the places where we work. That should make the whole approval and then the execution of the deal much easier.
So in other words, you're saying that you think you can overcome some of the regulatory issues that Crown is now confronting with royal commissions in 2 states, an inquiry by the Independent Liquor and Gaming Review in New South Wales. So you believe that you can overcome some of the problems that Crown's found itself in?
We believe that we understand the issues because we're operating in the same market. And we think that we can work with Crown to resolve all these. Not all of the issues are fully on the table yet, right? The WA Commission, the Royal Commission still has to run till November. The Victorian Royal Commission till the 1st of August. So there's a bit of, we don't yet know everything out of those things. But, we're an industry insider, so if there's anybody who's capable to work through these issues, it ought to be us.
Okay, so the one state where there is going to be duplication of casinos would be in New South Wales, where the 2 Sydney casinos, yours and Crown's, are there. Clearly this has to go before the ACCC, the Competition Authority. How do you see New South Wales operating across 2 properties?
Look, so we've had an informal chat to the ACCC before we launched the bid. Today, the chairman of the ACCC has come out and said that there will be a full inquiry, a public inquiry into this process. We expected that, and that's the due process that we just have to go through. We think there's some really good arguments why this deal should proceed. One of the key arguments is that in gaming, which is heavily regulated, unlike most other industries, the price is fixed. Whether you play roulette here or anywhere else, the odds are regulated and determined. So you're not competing head-to-head on that price. So that makes it a lot easier, I think, to make sure that the customer would not be affected. We would also keep both brands. So we would deliberately continue to make sure that the two brands speak to different segments of the customer base.
Okay, because what's quite clear in New South Wales is that while Star has the ability to have poker machines, slot machines, and has lower gambling limits, Crown, as the terms of its licence, has to appeal to higher, sort of, if you like, net wealth gamblers, and also has no slot machines. Is that also a point of difference between the two?
The fact that there's no slot machines at Barangaroo, yes, that's certainly a differentiator. But a lot of where we're going with Star here in Sydney is towards entertainment. We want to be a real entertainment hub with gaming, but also food and beverage and theatres and so on. And so, whereas Crown will be much more focused on a high-end table games customer only. They're different experiences. And if you have everything under the same company, our customers can use their loyalty cards in multiple venues. They can have different experiences at different moments in time. And so I think there's a real benefit here for the customer.
So you said two brands. The two brands will remain Star and Crown.
Yeah.
What will each of those brands represent? What will be different about them in terms of who you're aiming at and what the values are?
Yeah. So the two brands are different today. I think that's what everybody would acknowledge. Over time, we'll start to try to sort of crystallise that differentiation even more. And as I said, here in Sydney, we're taking Star Sydney more into the general entertainment space with a lot of gaming in it. Whereas Crown Barangaroo would be very much focused at the high-end table games business.
Matt Bekier, many thanks for your time.